As a shock rocker for a new generation, Marilyn Manson reached the top 40 pop charts in 1995 with his dark remake of the Eurythmics hit Sweet Dreams. While touring with Korn, Manson developed his next creation, a concept album about a character long on his mind, a weak, helpless boy who transforms into a superior being. His name, Antichrist Superstar.
I went in the back of the bus. I was playing guitar back there, and I started playing a song from Jesus Christ Superstar. He's like, "What do you know about Jesus Christ Superstar?" He was freaked out, because he already had the whole concept of the Antichrist Superstar going on in his head.
He has just everything, all the notebooks that he's ever had since a kid. And you'll see an original notebook with Antichrist Superstar written in it from when he was in 11th grade.
Manson and the band went to record the new album, Antichrist Superstar, at Trent Reznor's recording studio in New Orleans, a process that proved more grueling than they could possibly have anticipated.
And it was chaotic because while Trent is capable of being a good producer, I think he was not capable of being as good of a producer as he could have been because he was working on his own record at the time.
Manson kind of envisioned the album to be almost like a dark pop album, but Trent wanted to flex his abilities as an experimental producer.
It was a very weird experience. Alliances were made, and friendships were made, and enemies were made between all the people making the record. And Manson and I stuck together through all of it.
I think that there was a lot of drugs and a lot of anger and confusion, and it was New Orleans. It was always hot. It was terrible.
Manson fought with Reznor to keep his vision intact, but their mentor and protege relationship would be damaged beyond repair.
It just led to really dark times, and I think maybe that's what had to happen to have the record take place, and I don't regret anything.
It's probably my proudest moment. It's definitely one of my favorite records. That was just a really honest expression of what was going on in that period of our life. I'm glad that it happened that way because it definitely produced a great album.
Upon its release in 1997, the album rocketed into the charts.
When Manson found out that Antichrist Superstar was #3 on Billboard, first week it came out, I think it was really kind of, for him, it's a validation of what he felt making that record.
With a title like Antichrist Superstar, Manson got the public outcry he seemed to want as much as album sales.
For all intents and purposes, he was Satan incarnate to America. You know, he had no other identity. He was just this evil demagogue.
Well, I think Marilyn got what he was going for, to be honest with you. I mean, I think he really wanted to be one of the most controversial artists.
At Sunday's services, pews filled with the faithful will fight Marilyn Manson with prayers.
He's out to destroy anything that is good and holy.
They literally believe he's the Antichrist. I even had religious fanatics working for me that wanted to save me because I gave birth to him.
Even in the other religious countries in Europe, Italy and Poland, we always had problems with the government and with protesting.
Far from derailing Antichrist Superstar's success, the protests only seemed to help.
When they got on there and they put the warning stickers on these CDs, I understand why they did it, but it ended up selling more records for the artist.
Antichrist Superstar's first single, The Beautiful People, attacked society's obsession with beauty.
It was combating the fascism of beauty. If you weren't beautiful, you were worthless, you were ugly.
It flipped people out, that's for sure.
It's initially a heavy metal song at heart, you know, because it comes from like old metal riffs that I would play, but mixed with like a swing beat to it.
It really established the sound of the band.
With a platinum-selling album and a string of successful tours, Manson was now part of metal's elite. In spring 1997, he was invited to play Ozfest, the music festival created by Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. But Ozzy would have to defend his fellow shock rocker when the New Jersey Sports Authority attempted to remove Manson from the bill for what they deemed inappropriate behavior.
New Jersey saying they don't want Marilyn Manson to perform. It's like, are you crazy?
It's only a gig. He's not going to turn the people into frogs in watching him. He's a theatrical guy, you know.
He's a performing artist. It's all theater. It's all make-believe.
The Osbournes refused to cut him from the bill. The New Jersey Sports Authority kept pressing.
As far as New Jersey was concerned, they just felt that he was too satanic.
But for Manson, too much was at stake. His art and his right to free speech. He refused to back down.
I personally sued the state of New Jersey. I won.
So Manson wound up doing the show.
Whether it was the publicity surrounding the incident or not, the 9 Ozfest shows starring Manson turned out to be the most successful for that year's tour. But the notoriety made him more of a target for religious fanatics.
There was a lot of bomb threats, to the point to where you wouldn't even bat a lash when you heard one.
For much of the 90s, rocker Marilyn Manson's name was synonymous with controversy. His champions hailed him as a defender of free speech, not backing down against those who would try to silence him. His detractors viewed him an evil influence.
When you assert yourself as a villain or anti-hero, it kind of comes with the territory to become a target.
It took a lot of theatrical ingenuity for Manson and company to provoke all that outrage.
There's a guy in makeup, in a Nazi hat, on a podium.
With giant flaming crosses.
A chariot with bare-breasted women.
Drywall stilts, a shop light to light himself.
So he's always got a trick up his sleeve that you'll never know.
I started trying to find a way without making it all about theater, still having the energy and the rawness and the recklessness of rock and roll.
On the musical front, Manson also pushed himself and the band to go in different directions. 1998's Mechanical Animals channeled glam rock.
It's hard to pick a favorite Manson record because the best thing about him is when you think you got it figured out, you don't. And you know, that's why I like Mechanical Animals so much, is because no one expected it to go that route after Antichrist. Each album is just a reflection of what we love at the moment, and that changes, you know, often. That's why Manson changed his sound a lot.
But one thing had remained consistent. The music was a product of Team Manson and Ramirez, his writing partner and best friend.
Twiggy Ramirez is a good offshoot to Marilyn. They're Lennon, McCartney, Jagger, Richard. They've always kind of been like two peas in a pod.
But after 8 years together, Twiggy Ramirez felt his persona was now a burden.
Obviously, loved all the drugs and all the women and all the fame that starts out with. It was like Halloween every day. And eventually, for me, that devoured who I really was. There was a lot of friction between him and Twiggy at the time. I had a beard like I have now, and it made him really crazy. Like, you know, it made him nuts. Like, the first beard was the wedge between us.
In May 2002, the pair stunned the rock world by calling it quits. It was an agonizing split.
Neither one of us knew how to deal with it. It was so much like a marriage between he and I. You know, we lived together, we slept in the same room.
I think we both just wanted out at that particular time. You know, we were just both finished.
But losing Twiggy did not sidetrack Manson from his next major project.
Manson was working on a record called Golden Age of Grotesque that had a lot of elements of old burlesque in it.
The Golden Age of Grotesque tour evoked the symbolism and ethos of 1930s pre-Nazi Weimar Germany. It was really cabaret, it was really vaudeville, like, you know, Moulin Rouge, you know, red carpets, you know, dancing girls with half their faces ripped off.
Simultaneously, a trendy new burlesque revival was burgeoning at some of the hippest clubs on both sides of the Atlantic. One performer at the forefront, an American model and dancer, Dita Von Teese.
It was my job to go to the newsstand and pick up issues of Legs magazine, where she was featured on the cover of.
And he thought, aside from the fact that she was extremely attractive, that she would be interesting to have in a video for one of the songs he was working on. And I set a meeting up for the two of them.
Immediately, Manson and Dita hit it off.
When they first started dating, and then we went on tour together, she was there the whole time, and he was head over heels for her.
They shared a passion for glamour, a fact not lost on the paparazzi who gave them the Hollywood it couple treatment. They seemed like a match made in heaven. After several years together, the two wed in November 2005. But their separate careers and busy travel schedules strained the marriage.
In the year that he was married, he saw his then wife less in that year than, all previous years combined.
Adding to the separation imposed by their busy careers, media reports hinted that Dita had become disenchanted with Manson's drug and alcohol-laden rock and roll lifestyle.
Dita wanted to change him. And again, you can't change people. You accept people for what they are and don't judge them.
In the middle of a deteriorating marriage, Manson encountered a young actress at a Hollywood gathering.
And I ended up talking to him for about 10 minutes, not knowing who he was. And I went, wait. He said his name was Manson. As in Marilyn Manson. I feel like an idiot.
A friendship blossomed between Manson and 19-year-old Evan Rachel Wood.
I had met her after my marriage had sort of become estranged.
We purely bonded on just having the same love for film and for music.
Already frustrated in her marriage, media reports intimated that Dita did not condone the friendship. In December 2006, Dita filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences.
It just didn't work out. It just couldn't work out. I think Dita thought that Manson would change, but I don't think Manson will ever change. He's Marilyn Manson, and if he's not being Marilyn Manson, then he's not happy. And if he's not happy, you don't want to be with Marilyn Manson.
After the divorce, Manson and Evan's connection evolved from platonic to something more. Inspired by his new relationship, Manson began work on a new song.
When I first had my rendezvous at a hotel with Evan Rachel Wood, she had just turned 19. She was wearing Lolita glasses, heart-shaped glasses.
Obviously because of the traditional Kubrick Lolita poster.
I said, "Don't break my heart or I'll break your heart-shaped glasses."
He turned around and looked at me and then just went, oh my God, I have to write a song about this now.
The incident inspired Heart-Shaped Glasses, the first single from the 2007 album, Eat Me, Drink Me. It quickly reached the top 10. But Manson was about to learn that the drama in his personal life was far from over, and it would send him over the edge, way over the edge.
It started with me cutting myself 158 times with a razor blade.